Mayad nga agahon. Coming to you live from Numancia, Aklan in Western Visayas in the Philippines. I'm having my morning cup of coffee in my coffee with Ginno cup. There's our Dazzle TV logo there that my good friend HD had designed that Dazzle TV logo. My coffee is always my Copico Blanca. Copico Blanca is a 3-in-1 coffee here in the Philippines. Coffee, cream, and sugar. Powder form, it's a powder form. Hey, greetings and salutations. Greetings and salutations, HD. Powder form, you just put the powder in your cup, put hot water, and then you're good to go. You're good to go. Really inexpensive here in the Philippines, these 3-in-1 coffee. You can purchase this most any place here, sari-sari store, 7-Eleven, grocery store. These packs that I buy, it's a 10-pack for Copico Blanca. It's 70 pesos, about $1.50 for 10 packets, so 10 cups of coffee. Oh, Dan and Neen. All right. Good morning. From California, in the Victorville area, close to where I used to be stationed. My first assignment in the military was in George Air Force Base in California, Victorville, Cal. Oh, Belus, my good friend in Wyoming, man. I can't get enough of your photos, Belus. You know, I just love. That's one regret I have is I never made it to Wyoming. You know, I had an idea. I never made it to that area. Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota. You know, I wish. That was one. I was always driving from like California to like Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. Always the southern part of the United States. I think maybe because I was worried about driving the snow. I didn't have a lot of experience driving in the snow. And I know like the northern states of the United States, you know, depending on the time of the year, you can get a lot of snow. I wish though, if I had one regret, looking back now, I wish I was able to like travel that area on my car. I bet, you know, I mean, the pictures that you post on your Facebook, man, they're just amazing. God's country, definitely God's country in that area. Oracle, good morning. 3-in-1 is good, but I load up on Starbucks. I can't blame you, man. I can't blame you. Here in our province, the only Starbucks I can get here in our province is in Boracay Island. If I'm in Boracay Island, there's a Starbucks there. And also at the airport, inside the airport in Boracay Airport in mainland Aklan. But if I'm not flying out, I can't go inside that Starbucks. So the only Starbucks I get is like in Boracay Island. But they have a lot of cafes now here in Calibo. Becoming really popular in our area here, like as far as like cafes, coffee, you know, imported coffee beans from other countries, including Hawaii, and then the local beans like Benguet, Batangas, the Barako coffee. They're getting fancy. Like there's a place, Bean and Hops is what it's called in Calibo, and I was like impressed. I was looking at their menu, over a dozen imported beans. You know, I was like, wow. You know, it's like they're really. It's surprising that, you know, as hot as it is here in the Philippines, that people are getting into like drinking coffee. Good morning, Fresh Aloha. Fresh Aloha. Thank you for joining the live stream. Have a blessed day, of course, of course. I kind of got started late with the live stream today. I took Leanne to school like normal, but I was just kind of cleaning up here, just arranging things here. And then I did a little bit of laundry. This morning, laundry was like piling up for us. So I had a load of laundry, and it's hanging right now. It's hanging outside. You visit the northern states. Yes, and I know Oracle. I just never got a chance, never got an opportunity. And I understand, like, you want to visit it, like, August, September. I had too many friends, I guess, that live in like the southern United States. When I lived in Arizona, I would visit friends in California, and then my family I would visit in Texas, and then I had friends in Florida. So I just never had friends in like the northern part of the United States. That's why I never, I should have, It's kind of like my regret. But if I get a chance someday, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind definitely visiting that area. You're welcome to get Lady Paper went out here every year. All right. Hey, Vaughn, I was just like replying back to Vaughn messaged me this morning. Just came from James and Karen. All right. They are talking about, yes. I saw it that they were doing the live stream, but our topics are like different anyway. It's like, I saw portions that he was on live with Michael, and I know they talk about like I listened before, and I watched the videos regarding solar power and land opportunities, things like that. But my topic is different anyway from what they discuss. I'm more like the day-to-day or people coming here. As a matter of fact, today I'll have a discuss a topic. I always prepare a topic to discuss. You're welcome, Vaughn. I'm happy to accept your Facebook friend request. I know we're gonna be brothers. We're gonna be good friends, man. All right, weather. I always start with the weather because I do not want to disappoint Vegas Will in Las Vegas. He calls me the Mr. Weatherman. So I gotta give him the weather report. And not much is happening as far as no typhoons, no tropical depression, no cyclones or anything like that. There is a low pressure area. It's affecting northern Luzon. Like I said, northern Luzon is always like, that's the area. Northern Luzon, central Luzon, Bicol region gets a lot of rain. That's why my friends like Fortune, Michael C, live in Cavite, live in Manila area, they seem to be getting a lot of rain this year. But here in our area, it's just our normal monsoon season here, or what's called habagat. So it says here for Cagayan area, Luzon, Ifugao, Benguet, cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms. For us here in Western Visayas, it just hasn't been a really wet, rainy season. Not yet. It could change. It's like rainy season in the Philippines is it's a long time. It's half the year pretty much. Like from July to December, I would consider rainy season, because here in the Philippines, from July to December, we can get hit by a typhoon. A typhoon can enter the Philippine area of responsibility. So it can just like all of a sudden, and then sometimes, like last year, I remember the typhoons, 1 month last year in October, we had 4 in 1 month. Well, back to back, like 4 weeks in a row, we got like back-to-back typhoons. So we're not out of the woods yet. As a matter of fact, even though we're in September, we're in the Burr months now, that kind of like the start of the holiday season here. We're still in the bucket, to get like to get typhoons. I think we've only had 9 so far. They were gonna use the Jacinto, Jacinto, that would have been the 10th typhoon of the year, but the low pressure area didn't turn into like it didn't turn into a typhoon. So that's gonna, the letter J is the next typhoon here, typhoon number 10. And we average about 18 to 20 typhoons a year. So we're about halfway as far as typhoon. I'm just gonna show you the outside. Sunny this morning. The sun is like, when I took Leanna to school today, it's like bright and sunny today. So I'm gonna show you real quick what the outside is looking like this morning. Bright and sunny here. But it's not hot yet. You know, I would say probably in the 80 degrees Fahrenheit right now. But you can see like the sun is bright. There are some clouds, but I don't think it's gonna rain. I think it's clearing out here. I think the clouds are burning off here. Pretty soon here, we'll have blue skies here. But bright and sunny. I see that they're painting that house there. I saw yesterday I guess they were painting the backside because they tore apart that metal scaffolding. And that's pretty rare actually here to see metal scaffolding. Usually the scaffolding that they use here is bamboo, but on this house they're using metal. I have not actually seen many of these metal scaffolding. Usually here I see bamboo. But quiet again in our neighborhood here. At the end of our street here last night, they had a party. Right there. I don't know if you could see it, but they had tents. They got balloons right there. It was a children's party last night at the end of the street there. Let me see. I'm going to try to see if I can get a better view for you guys so you can see it. And that happens here. People do that. They'll block the street, and that's allowed. That's allowed as long as you get permission from the HOA. Right there, you can see they're cleaning up. They had put a tent. They had chairs, tables, balloons. At the end of our street, they were having a party. No karaoke though, because I didn't hear karaoke last night. So they are pretty good here as far as like, we have like a 9 p.m. for karaoke. Luckily, our street is pretty quiet as far as karaoke. I don't have neighbors here that blast karaoke, so I'm thankful. I'm thankful because that's normally not common. A lot of complaints for people here, especially the foreigners. It's like, you know, how do you get rid of karaoke when you have a neighbor that plays karaoke all the time? Usually those are handled, if you're in a gated community, that would be handled by the HOA. But if you don't have a HOA, that would be, everything here is handled in the barangay. If you have any complaints or anything like that, you just go to your barangay hall and complain to your barangay captain. A lot of issues here get solved in the barangay. The barangay captains here have a lot of authority. That's what I've learned here in the province of Aklan. Like this, any kind of disputes, neighbor disputes, you gotta complain in your barangay, you just take it to the barangay captain. A lot of times they'll sit you down with the person you have an argument or disagreement with. You'll go to the barangay with the person, and the barangay captain is try to resolve it. Today I was gonna talk about today the tourist visa. I've been getting a lot of questions because people are, you know, do I really need to get that SRRB? And I always tell people, you know, the SRRB just takes, that's a big commitment if you go that way. That's really like if you really decide to stay here. To me, I always recommend to people, just try the Philippines on a tourist visa. And the tourist visa here in the Philippines, you will not find here in Southeast Asia, even Thailand can compare to the ease of. Oh, there's Dazzle. She's awake. Morning, babe. Morning, babe. You will not find an easier visa process than the Philippines. I belong to many expat groups, and I always pay attention to like discussion on tourist visa. And I know the Philippines still has the easiest tourist visa process. Basically, when you come to the Philippines, you don't have to apply anywhere for a visa. You just land in the Philippines. If you land in Cebu City, if you land in Angel City, or majority of people, they land in Manila, you get 29 days of free visa when you land in the Philippines. They'll just stamp your passport, represent your passport, they'll stamp your passport, you're good for 29 days. And then over the years, I've seen changes, as far as like the extension process, but the process has changed. Before you were able to extend 2 months at a time, 6 months at a time. But now your first extension for your visa is only for 30 days. So you come here 29 days free. Before your 29 days is up, you get a 30-day extension. And it's not a complicated process. People make it sound like it's a big process. It's basically just going to any Bureau of Immigration here in the Philippines. Like we have one in Calibo, there's one in Boracay. Both places, there's nobody there. I've taken people there in Boracay and then in Calibo, and there's never anybody renewing their visa there. So it's an easy process. It's like you're in and out of there in like less than 30 minutes. I know in Boracay, when my friend renewed, the guy made him leave his passport. It was like we got there like when they opened at 9, and then told us come back after lunch and they'll have it ready. So that's all we did. We left his passport, my friend's passport. We ate breakfast, and when we were done with breakfast, around after 12, we came back and it was ready for the extension. So it's not a complicated process. And then after you get 29 days, and then you get 30 days, and then from then on, your extensions will be 2 months at a time. I'm told that if you go to the main office in Manila, you can get a 6-month extension, but that's for people in Manila. And I'm sure since it's Manila, a lot of people, might be some waiting time involved with that. So a lot easier, like for smaller places instead of the main office in Manila to like renew your visa. And it averages overall that the visa fees, there's not a set fee. Like I even like Googled it this morning just to verify, because people will always like, this is how much I paid this summer. It's like, but this is what the visa fee in the Philippines says. There isn't a single tourist visa fee for the Philippines. It varies by your nationality and where you apply, as fees differ between the embassies and consulates. And then when you come, for example, fees can range 5,900 pesos to 9,000 pesos. So, but the average as far as like if you want to stay here on a tourist visa for the whole year, it averages about $50 a month. So around $600 for the whole year for your tourist visa. And then there's once your second extension, you get your the alien card, the alien registration card, and that there's a fee for that. Not sure how much the fee is, but I think it's about $50 for the fee for that. So it's still, for staying in a country for a whole year, $600 is still a pretty decent fee. It's not like most countries have the same kind of fee. So it's not like it's an significant amount of money to pay that fee. And again, it's easy. It's an easy process. I have friends here that's been here on tourist visa forever. They don't apply for anything because they just want that option to they don't want the SRRB because that's a big commitment, deposit in a bank account, things like that. So you got to process paperwork. You got to pay into processing the paperwork. So many people just stay on the tourist visa, and it hasn't changed here as far as the tourist visa. You can stay on your arrival here. You can stay 3 years here before you have to leave the country. And then if you leave the country, even for a couple of days, you come back, your 3 years will start again. So there are people here that stay on tourist visa for many, many years. It hasn't changed. I think last year they came out with a memorandum that they're checking people more, but I think it was just a reaction to here in the Philippines, a lot of times there's something happens and they overreact, and then after a while you don't hear it anymore. It's just the way it is here. Like even with the Vitaly situation with that vlogging, right? He got a lot of press. He got a lot of, they came out with say, you got to blur people and all that. But I haven't heard anything now in a couple of months now. It's kind of like, when that happened, when that incident with Vitaly happened, it was big news. It went viral. But after the story dies down, back to normal. Back to normal. It's just the way it is here. Things just have a tendency, overreaction a lot of times from people. So once you get the tourist visa, and I've helped people. I'm going to be helping Edgar. Edgar's going to be the next person I'm helping. He's going to be here this month. So we'll get his tourist visa. The very first thing we're going to get Edgar, when he gets here, once he's got his passport, right? He's got his tourist visa. We're going to get him a barangay ID. That's the easiest Filipino ID that you can get, because all you got to prove with the barangay ID is you're living in the barangay. And he is. He's going to be renting an apartment, so he's got an address. We're going to have a receipt from the landlord, a payment of rent. And with that document, with the proof of residency and the tourist visa stamp on his American passport, we can get him a barangay ID. So that's the first step. That's the first step that I always get people, is the barangay ID. And then, like I said, after the first extension, on the second extension, so after 60 days, when he applies for the 2-month extension, we can get him the alien registration card. There's an express fee, depending on the branch of the Bureau of Immigration. I've seen people get it quickly, less than a week. For some people, they get. Sometimes I've heard people get it the next day. So I'm sure we'll get it. We can get. So once I get Edgar his barangay ID, I get his ACR card. Our next step would be getting his driver's license and then his bank account. Once you get the card, once you get the barangay ID, the ACR card, the barangay ID, we can get him for the LTO, the land transportation, would be our next stop to get him. And I've done this process. I've done this process with my friends. Ruben's we did that because Ruben got here in January. I even did it this process with my friends Joel and Eileen. They came here. They come here every year, but we did that. So I've seen the process. That's why I know. And then my friend in Canada, I've just helped people. So this is kind of like the routine that I got set up. It's like get the barangay ID, get the ACR card, and then get the driver's license. And it's a conversion. When you land here in the Philippines, your driver's license, whatever driver's license you have, you can drive with that license for 90 days. You can ride motorbikes, you can rent motorbikes, you can rent a car. All you got to do is make a copy of your passport, your picture section of your passport, make a copy of your stamp of arrival to the Philippines. That way, if you get pulled over, you can just show your foreign license, you can show your copy of your passport, you're good to drive for 90 days. Many people do that. Rent cars, rent motorbikes. Not an issue. You're allowed to drive or ride a motorbike for 90 days upon arrival. But after 90 days, you got to get your there's Totoy. You got to get your driver's license. And it kind of works out because like at the 60-day mark, you'll get your ACR card and you get your barangay ID. We can get that at the LTO. I've taken people there before. A few people now that it's a process, I'm not gonna lie. It's a process at the LTO. There's like a medical, there's a line. Yeah, you gotta have patience when we were at the land transportation office, but we can get that. We can get that driver's license same day. Sometimes they don't print you the card, the driver's license, but they'll give you a piece of paper that says you're good. You got a driver's license in the Philippines. And the initial, they'll give you, I think 4 or 5 years on the initial, but once your next time you need your driver's license, it's 10 years. Like my driver's license, since I've been here 14 years, it's good for 10 years. It's my driver's license. So once we get your barangay ID, we got your ACR card, we got your driver's license. Next step would be the bank. In the bank, I know of a bank there's RCBC in Calibo is kind of like the go-to for the expats here. So that's where I will take Edgar. And I've heard security, the smaller banks, it's bank to bank. Not all banks, sometimes one bank will let you open, one bank won't let you open. So you find a bank that will allow you. And most places here in the Philippines, there's so many banks. Like if I go to Calibo, there's at least 25, 30 banks. If you can believe that, there's like Metro Bank, BPI, BDO, RCBC, Security Bank, China. I mean, there's so many banks. Even like the smaller banks, they're more lenient. Your bigger banks sometimes are stricter. So you find a bank that will, because the main account you want is a peso account, right? Like a peso savings account. And an ATM, a local ATM. That's kind of like what, it's not like you're gonna be like putting a lot of money there or anything like that. The main thing is the ATM, I think, just because from there, once you open your bank account here, you can just transfer money using your methods in the US or your country, like Wise. You can transfer Remitly, Zoom. You can wire money to the bank. So you'll just load your ATM, and then every time you use your ATM, you don't have the fees anymore. You don't have the 200 to 250 peso fees, ATM fees. You can withdraw like me with the BDO, Dazzle. She's got a bank with Metro Bank. We can take out 50,000 pesos at a time. So it's just a lot easier once you get your bank account set up. So when you're done with that, you're good to go, man. You're good to go in the Philippines. Like Ruben, he's been here since January. My friend Nefty from Houston, he's been here since February. Now he's vacationing in Boracay. Once we get all that set up, you're practically you're practically a Filipino. You got all the documents you need. The key is like getting the barangay ID, the driver's license, and then the bank account. Once you got that, you got it made here. You got it made. So you're on cruise control. But once that happens, and you'll see it now. I remember last year at about July of last year they came out with a memo. And they were saying that they're asking people on their tourist visa, where are you staying? What are you doing here? How come you've been here a year? Again, it was just a reaction to something last year. But to me, it's not a big deal if they ask you where you're staying, right? Because if you're staying in Calibo, they just want, the Bureau of Immigration, basically, they just want to know where you're living and what are you doing here. If you're telling them, oh, I'm here, I'm a tourist, I want to tour the Philippines, I want to see the Philippines, I want to try out the Philippines, you won't have any problems here. They're not kicking out tourists here. I mean, tourists is one of the biggest industries here in the Philippines. It's like They want people to come to the Philippines. They're encouraging foreigners to pick the Philippines instead of going to Thailand or Vietnam. They want you to come here to the Philippines. You're spending your dollars here. That brings in a lot of money here in the Philippines, especially if you decide to live here. You know, your monthly rent, your cost of living, your people are buying motorcycles here, buying cars. So why would why would the Philippine government discourage tourists coming in here? They know the importance of people coming to the Philippines. If you have any questions with the tourist visa, you have an experience to share, you can share it on the live stream here. And then I know many Filipino Americans like me that come here, you know, as long as you have some kind of document, your U.S. passport will say there if you're born in the Philippines. That is enough for the Balikbayan privilege. You don't need any other document. If your U.S. passport says born, well, you know, place of birth, it says Philippines, you're good. You get the 1 year every time you land at the airport here. You get a 1 year Balikbayan privilege, is what it's called. If you have any kind of like document, you know, if you have a document, let's say a birth certificate, maybe you were born in the Philippines, migrated to the U.S. when you were a little kid. As long as you have something that says you were born in the Philippines, and that also applies for foreigners. If your Filipina has on the U.S. passport, it says they're Philippines, and if your Filipina is going to get a Balikbayan privilege for 1 year. If you're flying with your Filipina, you also get the Balikbayan privilege. You have to fly with the person with the privilege, though. If you're a foreigner and you don't have any documents saying you're a Balikbayan, you won't get that. But if a Filipina is flying, like a wedding certificate, a marriage certificate, if the Filipina has a Philippine passport, or again, a U.S. passport that says born in the Philippines, all she needs to present is like a marriage certificate to show the husband, that the foreigner husband, both will get the Balikbayan privilege. 1 year, visa free, no fee in the Philippines when you get the Balikbayan privilege. Also the kids, if the Filipinas coming home and the kids are born in America, got U.S. passports, it'll say in their passport, born in the USA. But if you show a birth certificate of the kids that the Filipinas, the mom, kids will get that Balikbayan privilege also. Oh, yeah, I'm cutting out on my mic. Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was cutting out on my mic. Hopefully it's not cutting out now. Hopefully it's not cutting out, Belus. Peanut Butter Travels. Hello. Oh, I gotta plug in my phone here so it doesn't die on me. I got my Blue Yeti here, so hopefully it didn't die. Hopefully it didn't die on me. All right. Good morning. Oh, Tanya. Hello, Tanya. I watched yesterday. Oh, thank you. I mean, you know, appreciate that, Tanya. All right, my Blue Yeti is working. All right. Edgar, all right, Edgar. I was just talking about Edgar, you know, like just explaining the process. That way you have an idea, Edgar, and then people that are coming, they have an idea of how the tourist visa works here. You should have done the national park hopping before. Yeah, I wish, HD, the thing when I was working, when I was in Arizona, I did get to the Grand Canyon. I did, because I was living in Arizona. I didn't have a lot of PTO, brother. I have like 2 weeks of PTO max per year, so it's hard to like travel, like long distance driving, like up to go up to like Wyoming on my car. It's like there always seem to be like just not enough time for vacations, things like that when I was working. But not a big deal. I saw enough, of that. Hello, Master Sergeant Ginno. Retired. Master Sergeant retired. I recently lost YouTube video of a pilot landing his small plane at Victorville Airport. All right. Which I didn't know used to be George Air Force Base. The old base housing is still. Yeah, I'm actually Southern California. I saw a video how it's unfortunate the base. It's like abandoned base housing. Our hospital at George. When I arrived at George in the 80s, mid 80s, they just built a brand new hospital. So by the time the base closed in 92, I don't think our hospital was like 4 or 5 years old. Brand new hospital, state of the art facility. They just abandoned it when they closed the base. That was the time where it was called the BRAC. The government was cutting down on military bases, not just in the U.S. but also abroad. Because it was costing the government too much money to run the bases. Helen, hi bro, where are you from? Oh, Helen. I'm from the Philippines, born and raised here in the Philippines. I was 12 when I left the Philippines, and then I came back here when I was 45. So I lived in America for over 30 years before I came back here when I was 45, and then I retired here when I was 45. I'm 59 now, so I've been retired here for 14 years now, enjoying life, retired United States Air Force, living on my military pension alone. I didn't get any disability from my service in the military, but my military pension alone is comfortable living here in the Philippines. Are you getting solar? I wanted to get like just a small solar. Getting the solar for the entire house. I wanted just a mini package. James from James and Karen's Adventures. When he went to Masbate, they were talking about like a small unit, maybe costing under $2,000. I could see myself getting something like that. I'll have to find a place. I don't have a big house here, so have to find a place for the batteries and the inverter, converter, all the equipment that I need with that. But nothing like to power my whole house. I just want something where if the power goes out, I can run a few fans, electric fans, and lights. That way we can still sleep good at nighttime. And then cut down on the regular electricity. Our electricity bill usually is about 3,500 pesos to like 4,000 pesos a month, so $75. So if I'm using a little bit of solar, maybe it'll lower my electricity bill. I'll be happy with that, but nothing too expensive. I never went solar because before, if you wanted to solar your house here, entire house, refrigerator, AC, all that, it could run upwards of like over $10,000, over 500,000 pesos. And for me, that's just above my pay grade, above my budget. It's like, but a little unit. I have the Blue Yeti. I have the power bank here that size of a car battery. A little bigger bigger battery than this. Maybe like it would just be nice to have we don't get many power outages. This year is not bad actually. We have like scheduled power outage that lasts maybe 12 hours, but those aren't hard to take when it's scheduled because they'll usually be like 6 a.m. to like 6 p.m. So you can plan like the day. We can go to a resort for the day. We can go the beach. We can go to Boracay, for the day. But it's the one at nighttime is the one that you'll be sleeping in the middle of the night and the power your fan or your AC does no electricity and it's hard to sleep. Those are the main thing that I would need, because for our internet we always have internet because of our Blue Yeti. So no skip now, sounds good. All right, Belus, thank you brother, thank you. Lowell, all right, Lowell, kumusta? From Oregon, my good friend Lowell from Oregon. He's wanting to really come to the Philippines, but Lowell, it's like get healthy first, my friend. Get all your medical issues. Get to a good place. Get healthy, and then I'll help you when the time comes. The time comes that I think it'd be okay for you to come to the Philippines, but take care of the medical issues first, and then we'll see if you can, make that trip here to the Philippines. Oracle, Ginno, off topic, but do you know where I can get my motorcycle plate printed? Printed, all right. Right now, I know what you're talking about printing before for your motorcycle. We just print like these plates they're not official plates. There's several companies, several businesses here in Calibo, Numancia. They'll just print you a plate, like a metal plate, but it's not official. Now here in Aklan province, it's now a requirement to have the land transportation plate. It took me 2 days. It took me 2 days to get that plate. And that's what you need. Right now, they said it was like August 16, so the date has passed already. No metal plate, no travel. But they kind of, like again, with everything here in the Philippines, it's always like that. They always like say something and make everybody rush to get the thing, and then of course they're not able to issue that many plates, so they've kind of postponed that. It just happens like that here. I remember one time with cell phones, with Smart and Globe, they said that you have to have everything will be, to avoid like everybody. Basically, our phones here, before we had to register the phone, basically most phones in the Philippines were like burner phones. But they made, about 2 years ago, they made everybody say, you got to have, it's mandatory to have your phone registered. But they haven't really enforced that. It's like, it's still easy. Like if you land here, if you have an unlocked phone, you can still get a phone registered here. It's not hard. It's not hard. But printed plate, my recommendation, Oracle, you'll have to get the official plate for the LTO, and it's a process. Like I said, it took me 2 days, man. 2 days to get that metal plate. You have to, because the ones that are just like made up, kind of like printed, they're not the official LTO. You'll probably get pulled over if you got the non-official metal plate. Get the official plates because now they're available now at the LTO. John, Salve, and Maggie. Hello Maggie. Hello Maggie. Hey John, good morning. Kumusta? Kumusta, kaibigan? Panay Pasi. Raining here all day today. Gloomy. Oh, that's right. Labor Day today. I forgot. Thank you, John, for the reminder. That's Labor Day. Good AM, Ginno family and the Panay Pasi from Fortune, my good friend in Bacoor, Cavite. Work from home? Are you working from home or you're at the office today, Fortune? The comment that made about your mother-in-law moving in must have had awful family life and was projected. Yeah, it's like, and I understand, Tanya, it's a different culture. See, that's the thing with me. I experienced both cultures. I went to the United States, lived there for over 30 years. Now, it's kind of like I lived half my life in the U.S., half my life here. So I have a good understanding of both cultures. I don't, I respect both cultures. It's different, it's like, but the thing I noticed is, like I said, in the U.S., people are quick to, you want, and it's nothing bad about it. Yeah, you want your kid, growing up, you want that, you're pushing independence, right? In the U.S., that's kind of like the dynamic. Pushing independence, do everything on your own. By the time you become an adult, 18, especially if you graduate college, you got to do it on your own. Here in the Philippines, what I notice here is they're more like coddling. I had classmates here. We were, going to college, and it's like I'm looking at them. Man, I remember when I was 17, I was like in the United States military already. I was working. I had my own job already. But here, I had classmates that were like 22 years old, living at home. Mom cooking their dinner, lunch. Mom doing their laundry. They're not independent. They don't push because it's the dynamic here. It's not easy for a college student here, or even after you graduate college. You don't make enough money to be on your own, to get your own apartment. That costs money, and unless you get a good job coming out of college. And the problem that I see now here in the Philippines, a lot of college graduates, but when they graduate, it's hard for them to get a job. Because to me, they pick the wrong course. That's my opinion. They pick the wrong course in college. They pick a course in college that doesn't, the minute you graduate, that you can at least a bankable degree or something that can get you a job. If you get like an IT degree, nursing degree, merchant marine, those are when you get that asset or you get that degree, you can, you're wanted by employers. But there's so many degrees here that that you get that I'm trying to think, it's like, what were they thinking taking that course? Because like after graduation, they can't get a job. They might get a job at Jollibee or McDonald's, or why did you go through all that college? Maybe they didn't think it out, that it's like, to me, college even here in the Philippines is a big investment. You're putting in money, so you want, like, after graduation, you want a job, a good job after you graduate. On site yesterday, today, and tomorrow. All right then. All right, Fortune. Hey, Daniel, my good friend in Jacksonville, Florida. Howdy, Ginno and Panay Posse. All right, Vaughn. Hello, Belu's Traveler. Good day, HD. Edgar, hello, Fortune. And all right, Fortune, there you go. Ginno, the LPA from the Pacific Ocean did not no, it didn't. It keeps happening. I think that's the second time that it didn't happen. It didn't become like a tropical depression or something like that. Did not LPA for just 2 days on the way out. All right. If you start in Arizona, you can go parks, Sedona. I've done that. I've done the parks in Arizona. That I was able to hit. Sedona, Prescott, the Grand Canyon. I did that. Vegas, Yellowstone, head west. Yeah, like I said, HD, I wish I did. I just didn't have the time. Like when I was working at St. Mary's, like I said, I would get like 2 weeks PTO a year. And sometimes I had to use my PTO when family emergencies, things like that I had to fly to Houston. Next type. Oh, Kiko, we're on the K. All right, Fortune. Michael C. All right, Michael C. My good friend in Trece Martyrs, Cavite. Good morning, brother. We are in Burmans. I know, man. Burmans already. Here in our province of Aklan, when the Burmans hit September, of course, the mall, you start seeing playing music, Christmas music. But for us here in Aklan province, like when I go to the plaza, and I think I'll do that one of this afternoon when we have good weather. I'll go there to the plaza, and you can see like the Ati-Atihan bands. They're there every afternoon now. They're practicing their drums, their beats, their moves, for Ati-Atihan, because Ati-Atihan Festival opening salvo in Calibo is gonna be first week of October. So we're like a month away from opening salvo. So it's kind of like a preview of what's gonna happen in January. So, and that happens like in Makato, all the municipalities, all the towns in Aklan province. The bands are, because they want to come up with new beats as well. A lot of it, it's like they're practicing new songs. If they want to like they want to do better than they did the previous year. That's always. And then sometimes people in the band themselves, new members, people that did it last year might not want to do it this year. So it takes time to get that rhythm, so they have to practice and they take it serious. The Ati-Atihan bands, they take it pretty serious here because the grand prize is like 1,000,000 pesos. It's like $18,000 for like the best band or the best Ati-Atihan group. It's like a lot of money. A lot of money is at stake. A lot of pride for the different towns here. There's just groups like in the Ati-Atihan groups. There's like one group I know. Calibo's got a few groups that are well known, popular. I think one of the group is called Black Beauty, and they're always in the top 3 every year. So they got a reputation on the festival. To like their costumes are really elaborate. Their dance moves, the drum beats. So they have, they practice. They don't want to do like, first last defending champion, you're a defending champion, and then you come out like you want to like improve even if you're like the defending champion. Good AM, Michael. Good AM. Good day, Fortune. Good day. All right. Christmas here starts September 1st until Three Kings in January. For sure. I see that, when we go to Grand Gaisano or City Mall Calibo, the decorations are already out, like the mall decorations for Christmas. And they'll put a countdown, like at the entrance of the mall, they'll put a countdown like 120 days till Christmas or 90 days till Christmas, and they do a countdown. Big thing here in the Philippines. Christmas is a very celebrated occasion here. The whole month of December is a lot of fun. In our province anyway, I know they have what's called the opening of lights. There'll be a giant Christmas tree on all the different towns, the 17 towns here, 17 municipalities, and they'll have opening. It's supposed to be turning on the lights, but they call it opening of lights. But that's they'll have like food booths. That's when your bibingka, Christmas food starts coming up. Bibingka. What is the other one? I forget the violet. Puto bongbong, bibingka. Now more like food carts. They start coming, and then of course in December they have Simbang Gabi. Like there's a mass that's like people go several weeks to complete until all the Simbang Gabi, usually like several times at the same time every day. It's kind of like you want to go to like Simbang Gabi or that mass every day until Christmas. We can start singing Christmas songs. Oh yeah, you can start singing Christmas. You'll hear it here, Edgar, once you come at the mall. They already playing like Christmas music. How much is the parking if you drove your car? I usually pay, there's a lot that I like to park my car in Caticlan, and I pay 250 pesos per night, so that's about $4.50. I like this particular one because they have CCTV. They have like, usually you can park and they have like a carport, so your car's not in the elements. And there's always a guy there, and I like the area. It's a little away from there's closer ones to the port, but I like that one parking space. There's plenty of them though, and you can find parking like per day. But they also like a lot of residents in Boracay. They live in Boracay, foreigners. But they have vehicles, so they have to park the vehicle somewhere in Caticlan. So they have parking there, like on a monthly fee, covered parking. That's actually popular. Because many, especially motorbikes, parking for motorbikes, not easy to like move your motorbike back and forth from the mainland to Boracay. So a lot of times, people would either keep a motorbike in mainland or both. They have a motorbike in Boracay, they have a motorbike in mainland. But if you want to bring a motorbike in Boracay Island, in the island itself, you got to get a permit. You can't just bring a motorbike in Boracay. You have to get a permit from the mayor's office of Malay in mainland Aklan. Boracay is part of Malay, the town of Malay, the municipality of Malay. So you can't just put your motorbike in a bangka and take it to Boracay. You have to have a sticker. There's a sticker. I'm sure there's a fee for the sticker, and you have to renew the sticker every year. They try to control the number of motorbikes in Boracay Island. They don't want the island to have too many motorbikes because they're going green. You know, everything in Boracay is like the e-trikes. They're pushing that e-trike electric vehicles instead of there's a lot of electric that like small golf cart now looking things that I see in Boracay. Bicycles, electric, you know, you can pedal and it's got that electric on it. I've seen a lot of those now in Boracay. Maggie says, good morning, Kuya. All right, Maggie. All right, Maggie. Thank you for watching, Maggie. By the way, in karaoke, don't sing My Way in public places. You can in your own house as My Way. My Way. Why is that, Fortune? I've heard My Way. I've heard My Way sung in karaoke before. Hello, Edgar. All right, from Daniel. Good day, Daniel. The cooking queen, Dazzle, the cooking queen. Good AM, Dazzle. All right, good to see you. Better to do extensions in provinces. Short line. Okay, I agree. Like, I'm sure Manila, you know, I've never gone to the Manila to do, you know, extension or take in somebody, but I can imagine anything that you do in Manila, you know, it's like, if you got to go to the Bureau of Immigration in Manila, it's going to be packed in there. Same thing with the DFA, the Department of Foreign Affairs. Pay the fees. That's the thing, you know, the tourist visa in the Philippines, the reason I say that it's the easiest process here, because basically it's just paying fees. There's really not a lot of documents that you gotta present. You know, you just gotta present your passport. You know, that first stamp, they'll look at it, they'll extend it, and then you just keep all those receipts that they give you every time you renew your because I've taken many people now, you know, when I go there, I'm looking at the process. Like I said, it's like in and out of there in less than 30 minutes. It's not like a big process to renew your tourist visa. And I always tell people, just do the tourist visa first before you even attempt the SRRV visa, because you might not like it here. You know, I mean, why spend? I think the application, if Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the guru. I mean, it could cost you over $1,000 just to apply for SRRV. You know, so to me, why spend that amount of money if, you know, like you come here 6 months later and it's like, man, I don't like it here. I got to get out of here. You know, at least with the tourist visa, for the extension, if you're here like 4 months and decide, oh, Philippines is not for me, like my friend Jack. My friend Jack tried the Philippines for 6 months. Now he's in Thailand, you know, because he didn't get that, he didn't like the vibe, you know, so he decided to go to Thailand. So you don't spend a lot of money, Hello, Daniel. You guys getting much rain in Jacksonville? Lots of rain here. In Metro Manila, there are satellite offices in the malls. So you can apply for extension, then just hang. Yeah, you know, that'll be convenient. Like Robinson's. Robinson's Mall is usually where they have the Bureau of Immigration and Department of Foreign Affairs. The skin tax. I don't really know why they call that the skin tax, Daniel. I don't know who came up with that name. For me, it's more like a foreigner tax, because even I feel that foreigner tax because I'm Filipino American. You know, if I'm here in Calibo I don't speak the local dialect, so I let Dazzle do all the talking because the minute I speak Tagalog, they're gonna charge me more, and um, it's really not. People make it sound like it's like a. To me, it's more like just the way It's not like they're crooked or anything. It's just the way things are done here. It's the culture. Like it's not just because you're a foreigner. They'll do that to like rich people here in the Philippines because you can tell like the rich from the poor here, just the way they dress. If they're driving a SUV, they got money. So here in the Philippines, it's not just because you're a foreigner that you're getting charged more. The more affluent people here, they're gonna get charged more here. Dazzle actually had an experience at a store in Calibo. She does the thrift store. She goes to like the ukay, and she heard the employees. Their manager was telling the employees. They were telling him, "Oh, if you see a customer that's dressed nice, upsell it, charge them more." So it's not like they're trying. It's just a way of doing business here. It's common to like negotiate here. Anything is negotiable here, as long as it's not in the department store. Like if you go to a fruit stand here, if you go to the public market here, everything's negotiable. Like even if they have a sign that says 100 peso per kilo for tilapia, right? You can ask them 80 pesos. You can bargain anything. So it's just the same thing. Just be careful with that skin tax message, Daniel. You might be okay when you're around expats when you say skin tax, but if you're with the locals, I wouldn't say that word. Because it makes it sound like skin, like the Filipinos are racist. So be careful with that. We can you can go hee, we can go do this in our live stream, but like around locals, that can be offensive to, like I said, be careful with like words here. If you're around a lot of expats, I know that's a common word used by expats here, skin tax, but a Filipino might not take that kindly. You don't want to offend. You don't want to offend the locals. You want to respect the locals, because for expat, the word skin tax might be just funny, like, I'm getting taxed. Because of my color of my skin, I'm getting taxed more. But for a Filipino, he might view that as you're calling him racist. So just be careful. Be careful with that word, Daniel. Like I said, man, jokes and sarcasm, you gotta be extremely careful about that. Especially Filipinos are very sensitive, man. They're very sensitive. There's just words like me I don't say, that I know that it can be like it can go sideways quick for you here. They make the Philippines as their base and then just do visa rents. Yep, I think because like I've heard like in Thailand, it's just you're only allowed to like extend twice in Thailand, and then they make it hard for you. The Philippines is the only country I know here in Southeast Asia that will let you become a tourist for like years and years, more than 3 years. I don't know of another country that will allow. You have to leave the country and then enter again. Here in the Philippines, you can stay for 3 years consecutive. You don't have to fly out of the Philippines. You don't have to make a visa run for 3 years here on a tourist visa. Other countries just don't let you do that. Very cloudy, but little or no rain yet. Hey, Daniel. All right, Daniel. Okay, we getting hammered. In Daytona. You can stay 20 years and only spend 12,000. That's 3,000 cheaper than putting money in the bank. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can do like an Excel spreadsheet, the comparison, right? The comparison, Edgar. And then it's not just that. It's the hassle, man. When you do the SRRV, there's a lot of documents. The process, more likely, you would have to go to Manila. What if you're here? If you're here in Aklan province, you're gonna have to fly to Manila. You're gonna have to, when it's time for your SRRV ceremony, that's in Manila. That's at the Philippine Retirement Authority. So there's extra, hidden charge, because like the flight going there, your hotel cost, and the time, And then that's not even counting like here in the Philippines, when you're dealing with a government agency, even you think you got all the documents in line, and they'll be going like, you need to have something, this is not enough. They'll ask, anytime you have to deal with a government agency here, it can get difficult. It can get difficult. Good morning, hello, hey, my friend in Angeles City, Pampanga, hello. Whatever happened to that Russian vlogger, Vitaly? His story disappeared. Exactly, right? He was like the biggest news here in the Philippines. He went viral, Right now, the last I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, he's still being held here in the Philippines. He has not been able to leave the country here. But you don't hear much anymore. It's died down. There was a time when all vloggers here were like vlogging about him. Me, I didn't vlog about him because like I didn't like what he was doing, and I'm like I didn't want to add to like the to make him that big a deal, because he was not cool, man. He was not cool. Alan, oh hey, the express fee opens many doors. LOL. Hey man, it's like you got to do what you got to do here sometimes, right? The express fee, the hidden charges, Hey, sometimes you got, if you don't have the patience, to like wait, me, I'm patient, that's why I don't like the express fee, the hidden charges. I don't like paying that. I don't mind lining up, going through the process. I don't mind doing that. Got to go. Be safe. God bless. God bless, Belus. God bless. He is in the Philippine prison for 18 months. Oh, thank you, Fortune. Thank you for the update. So 18 months is in a Philippine prison. Counting down, 3 weeks left in the large unit and 6 months till my ETA departure. All right, Daniel. You're getting there. You're getting there, brother. Oh, there's Joel. There's Joel. Thanks for the shout out. Joel and Eileen, our good friends in Arizona. We went, all right. We got them their driver's Joel and Eileen, they came here. We got their senior card, their barangay ID. We got their what else? Their driver's license. And Joel's got they both got the motorcycle endorsement on their driver, because they ride motorcycles in the U.S. And that's the thing too. If you don't have the motorcycle endorsement in the U.S., your license here won't have the because like me, I never rode a motorcycle till I got here, so, there's a process here, there's a process here as far as like attending driving school for the motorbike, so you can get that motorcycle endorsement. But Joel and Eileen, they ride motorbikes. They got like big bikes in Arizona, so they didn't have to go through that. What's the Vitaly guy's sentence? Is he in jail? According to Fortune, looks like he got 18 months. 18 months in a Philippine prison. He's probably wishing he didn't do that now. 18 months in a Philippine prison. That's no fun. The Philippine prison is not a country club. It's not a... Is that right? He'll be skinny by the time he gets out and probably hate Filipinos for the rest of... Oh, yeah, I've seen pictures. He did look like he lost some weight already from... That's what the news said. 18 months. Uy, hold on. The water delivery guys are here. I had like 4 containers out there, so they're picking up the empty containers, and they'll bring it back later. It's like the containers here. It's like the 5-gallon container. It looks like that blue container right there, the blue container. It's 5 gallons. And here it's 25 pesos. So I got four containers there. That'll be like 20 gallons of drinking water. Will cost me like $1.75. And they pick up the containers and they'll deliver it later. Really convenient that they do that here. Can you purchase a vehicle and drive that prior to the 90 days, or do you need Philippine driver to purchase? Is there different requirement between renting and owning? All right, as far as buying, I've never had anybody here have a problem buying a vehicle. If you got the cash, if you're purchasing, they'll let you purchase anything here with your foreign license. You know, got nothing to do with like you can buy a motorbike, you can buy a car. They're not gonna stop you from buying a vehicle. If you go to the dealership here, they're like, "You're buying?" You know, they'll be happy to sell you a car or a motorbike. Is there a different requirement between renting and owning? Different requirement for owning. Renting, usually when you rent a vehicle here, HD, the only requirement to rent here is your proof that you have a license, and a lot of times they'll get a copy of your passport, of your U.S. passport. When I go to like Bohol, Panglao, Bohol, and I wanted to ride a scooter, the main concern they want is your passport, because they know that you're not gonna run away with a motorbike because of your passport. They can track you down on your passport. You don't want to have a case just because of a motorbike. So as far as the license, they're not really that concerned. They're concerned about their motorbike more than that if you can operate it with the proper license here in the Philippines. They're just concerned about their motorbike or their car that they're renting to you, that you're not going to take off with it. And with a copy of your passport, you're not going to run away with it. They can track you down. The NBI clearance, and you don't want to be wanted in the Philippines. That's why you see many foreigners here, like in Boracay, Panglao, Bohol. You see all the foreigners like riding scooters, because like all the hotels or the rental agencies that rent to them, they just want a copy of their passport and they'll rent it to them. Like when I was there 3 years ago, it rented for 300 pesos a day on the scooter, a 125cc scooter. Now more like 400, 500 pesos, still pretty reasonable, like $8-9 a day on a motorbike. And you can travel all over Bohol with that. Go to Chocolate Hills, go to the Tarsier. They're not too concerned about, because they figure the people that are renting, it's not like in the US where like in the US when you're renting, they want all the document, insurance, everything, license, all that. Here it's basically some guy renting the motorbike to you. He's concerned about his bike. He's not concerned about if you got a license or not. Because here in the Philippines, many people on the road here in our province, I would tell you this, HD, I bet you more than half of the people on the road here riding motorbikes don't have a license. It's just the way it is here. It's not it's that's the way they roll here in the province. I see kids all the time, teenagers. I know they ain't got a license because they're not. To me, I'm looking at them. They're look like 14, 15, and they're on motorbikes. No helmet, flip flops, riding a motorcycle here in the province. If we have a PH bank like BDO, can we transfer dollars from the U.S. bank to the Philippine bank? You can, Daniel, if you have a dollar account with BDO. Like me, I have a dollar account with BDO. I have a dollar account, peso account, and ATM. You would have to like deposit. So, and then I know most Americans, when they get here, they have dollars. They bring $100 crisp $100 bills. And some banks will allow you to open, Daniel, but not all banks. And it depends from province to province, town to town. There's just a lot of times expats, when you go land at an area, you're gonna know, but by just talking to another expat, ask them, where'd you open your account? And they'll tell you, I opened at this bank. They'll let you open the account. So it's not guaranteed. Not all banks. Like if you can go to BDO actually is one of the stricter banks because they're a big bank here, big franchise bank. So they're harder for expats to open a foreigner to open a BDO. The smaller banks are easier to open. But you can transfer dollars from your US bank account, the SWIFT code and all that, if you have a dollar account with the bank. It's separate here. If there's a dollar account, peso account, ATM, there could be, you can have a savings account, check. There's like several accounts that you can get from the bank here. HD purchase, just have an ID. I know, right, Fortune? I have not heard of a dealership here, car dealership or a motorcycle dealership that's going to turn down your money. If you got money, especially cash, you can drop that cash and you're good to go. Passport. They'll sell you a motorbike here on your passport because they have nothing to do with like the registration part. The registration part might be harder for you to do, but the motorcycle shops, the dealership, they just want to sell. They're not. They just want to sell you the bike. Yes, Daniel, I think Ginno does that. His military pension goes to his U.S. bank with instruction to transfer. No, I don't have like the automatic transfer, Fortune. What I do is I have checks. I write a check every so often. I'll write a check with my Philippine bank that's a dollar account. I deposit the check, a paper check, and they charge me, right now, the last time I deposited, they charged me 250 pesos, about $4.50 to deposit money. That I never heard of that, like to deposit a check. But I understand because it's a foreign, the transaction, the bank has to make money, I understand. But you can drive that. For example, you have a car driver's license, but decided to get a scooter or motorcycle. Okay, if you have a car driver's license, HD, you're not supposed to drive, you're supposed to have the motorcycle endorsement. Like that's what I was talking about, like with Joel and Eileen. They ride motorcycles in the US, and on their license, they have a motorcycle. And here in the Philippines, when you go apply for your license, there's gonna be blocks in there where it says vehicle, how big the vehicle is, like a van, a bus, a tricycle, a motorcycle. So there's different codes for that, and they'll put it on your license that you're authorized to drive like a car, like a van, like a bus. Same thing, motorbike. If you do not have the motorcycle endorsement in the United States, they won't give you a motorcycle endorsement in the Philippines. You'd have to like go to a driving school here, attend the motorcycle training here, and then you'll get a certificate from the driving school here in the Philippines to take to the LTO so you can get the motorcycle endorsement. Hey, happy Labor Day, Mom Janet. Hope everything is well, Mom Janet. I know, that, we're always like thinking of you, praying for you, Mom Janet, for the health issues. I know that's like hard to deal with. To be safe, make sure your driver's license allow you to drive a car, motorcycle. Yes, and like I said, Fortune, there's also levels, right? Like just because you can drive a car doesn't mean you can drive like a bus or like a big van. Make sure that's all identified on your driver's license. There's codes for when you apply for the driver's license. You'll see it on the application. They have like the weight of the car, usually the weight of the car, the van, if a bus, a truck, they have that all lined up for you. Most of the time, expats, foreigners are the ones particular about like following all the rules. Here in the province, and it's like a lot of people here, they don't carry insurance. A lot don't have a license or expired license, or But I understand that foreigners, we're just like we want to obey the law. We don't want to get in trouble here when we're here. That's why we're the ones that are following. Just to avoid complications. Watching. Ooh, barbecue today. All right, barbecue. All right. Good day, Mom Janet. Exiting the chat. Intent. All right. Office meeting, Fortune. That's more important. That's work. That's work, Fortune. HD, if you don't have a motorcycle endorsement on your US license, you have to take a motor. Yes, that is correct, Edgar. And they're popular now. Even here in our town of Numancia, there's one here. What is that name of that thing? I forgot, but That's where Dazzle attended driving school. Dazzle on her driver's license, she had to go through all the training. So Dazzle can drive a car, she can drive a van, she can drive a tricycle, she can drive a motorbike. All the endorsements are on Dazzle's. Because here in the Philippines, if you're a first-time driver's license, if you're like you don't have a license anywhere else, this is the first time. More likely, like when you marry a Filipina, when you marry the Filipina, this is the first time she'll drive. It's mandatory here now. Now it's mandatory for them to attend driving school. That wasn't the case before, The driving school was not mandatory before, but now, if you're first time if you've never had any driver's license anywhere, you are required to attend driving school, and that's what Dazzle had to do. It costs money, I remember it cost me like almost 10,000 pesos for the driving school, like $175. Not cheap, for Philippines, not cheap to go to driving school, because they actually have vehicles that you drive, at the driving school. You don't take your own vehicle. They have vehicles like at the driving schools here. Fortune, have a wonderful evening. All right, Fortune. I'm back and forth, kind of. All right. Take care, Mom John. You got to do what you got to do, Mom Janet. Thank you, Mom Janet. All right. We both don't look like we had. I know. Well, I'm getting better. It's like I still have to pace myself. For me, you see me, I got all this energy in the morning. But usually after my sunset walk, Dazzle and we walk our dogs, and usually by 6 p.m. I call myself low battery. It's like that's why I go to bed by 8 p.m. because like. I don't have the same endurance, and I used to be an endurance runner. It's crazy, but it is what it is. It is what it is. When you go through what we went through, Mom Janet, you're just happy to be alive, just happy that semi-healthy. It's like I don't think I'll be able to be a runner again like I used to be, but I'm okay with that. I've made peace with that. I'm good with just walking now. It's probably healthier for my knees anyway. People keep telling me, since my knees, I've never had any surgery on my legs, anywhere in my body, never had major surgery before I had my cancer treatments. So my knees, my back, everything's like healthy, it's like, so I have a lot to be thankful for, even though I'm still in the recovery process. Not healed yet. All right. I know, Mom Janet. So for people who don't have a motorcycle license, suggest that they should get a license in their country. Yeah, that would be good. I mean, it might be easier. It might be easier. I know they have motorcycle safety courses in the US. I know that. Just chores. Yes, they can refer to the US language. Yes, whatever. If it like my friend Joel and Eileen, since their U.S. Arizona license has a motorcycle endorsement, they'll just you're good, because you can prove it. When you do the application, you check the box, and they'll make a copy of your driver's license, and they'll see that you have the motorcycle endorsement. Me too, getting ready for Wednesday. My sister-in-law, all right, reacquired her Philippine citizenship so she can be processed faster when she's here. I'm the same way, Fortune. I got, when I first came to the Philippines, I was just on the Balikbayan privilege. I had to apply for my Philippine citizenship here. And I would recommend, if you do that do it in the United States. Do it at a Philippine consulate in the United. It's easier process. A harder process here if you want to acquire your Philippine citizenship here, because you have to go to Manila. The main office at the Bureau of Immigration is where you would get your Philippine citizenship back. So for me, it's a trip to Manila. I try to avoid that trip. Manila is just hard. Especially coming from here. You got to fly into Manila, delays on flights. Just coming out of the airport, dealing with the traffic, the hotel, So if you can do your Philippine citizenship reacquirement, dual citizenship, highly recommend you do that in the United States. Probably the same thing, HD. Probably easier to do the motorcycle endorsement in the US rather than trying to do it here. Because a lot of times here, when you have to do the paperwork here, when you're dealing with government agencies, there's already fees involved, but a lot of times you got that express fee, that hidden charges, if you know what I mean. That you got that here in the Philippines. So like Ginno, he's dual. Yes. I wouldn't want to purchase a motorcycle in the US just to get a license before moving, but good to know. All right, good to know. Good to know. All right. Good morning. Oh, Ray in the Philippines. All right. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Ray. You're counting down, Ray. You're gonna be here in Panay Island soon. All right, man. For your visit to Panay Island. Getting a motorcycle license would make more sense if you don't have one yet. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's really depending on the individual, HD. If I was in the situation like that you don't have the endorsement, I would just get it here. Just my opinion, but I don't tell people what to do. I can recommend. I recommend, but people are always different. If I say get it here or get it in the U.S., somebody's always gonna tell me, no, don't. We'll like disagree. So I was just like, if it was me, I would just get it done here. If it was me, but we're all different. We're all different. I might be wrong, but I think you can go through Honda. Buying, like I said, Edgar, buying a motorbike is easy. I mean, they're not gonna. If you want a motorbike here, they'll sell it to you. It doesn't require much to buy. Buying is easy. Now, registering it, getting it registered and getting the plate for it, that's another story. Those are two different agencies. One is the dealership. They just want to get rid of their bikes. The other is the Land Transportation Office, the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles there. And there's a lot of bureaucracy in the LTO here that you have to go through. Not just purchasing a motorbike, registering it, getting a license. There's not a standard. There's not a standard for the entire Philippines. It just depends on the Land Transportation Office that you're going to. They don't, I'm sure they follow like a regulation, but they all operate different from each. Rojas City, Iloilo City, and Calibo, their Land Transportation Office, they don't operate with the same procedures. That's what I've seen, because I've gone through like Rojas City LTO before, and I've gone through Calibo. So in my experience, they just operate as a separate entity. They have rules that they come up with at their office. It helps if you know people in there. That always helps. If you know people that work there, or know somebody that knows people that work inside the government agency, will make your life easier. 10,000 is cheap because 30 minimum to have 8 kilowatt system here in California. Yeah, I've heard, it's like from watching Michael White and James and Karen Adventure for all that solar. And then they were Michael was just showing like what he got. I was watching that video, what he got from local, from Lazada. I can see how it's affordable. I can see, that's why I'm considering it. That's why I'm considering doing the solar. Nothing big, nothing big. Again, enough to like run me some fans. Like if I can get 2 standard fans running, I can put it in the room. I can put one down here. I'm good. I'm good with that. I don't need the whole house to like run on solar. Dealerships give you motorcycle riding classes? No, HD. The dealerships don't do it. Dealerships here, they only sell the motorcycle. The motorcycle classes would be like a driving school. You'll have to find a driving school. Honda was the only. Oh, okay. Edgar saying he saw something, but not in our province. Maybe I should have corrected that. Not in our province. I've never seen a dealership here in Aklan province that offer motorcycle riding classes. Maybe Manila, I don't know, Fortune, help me out. I don't know, Fortune's gone. He's the one, maybe in the big city that they might offer, but not in Aklan province. I have actually not in Panay Island. I haven't seen like the dealership here offering motorcycle riding classes. Incentive to get a Honda. If I did good research, e-travel and SIMs can be registered through the e-government PH. All right, thank you, HD. I think Brian from Expat was asked me about that, about e-travel and SIM. So e-gov PH. One of my in-laws paid over 60 for solar, and my sister didn't know unit. Not a happy day for her. Unit work showed up. Hey, Yasha, hi sir. Hello, Yasha, hello. Wait for approval verification for authentication right now on egov.ph. I'll have to look in there. I'll have to look at the egov.ph. I haven't been to that website. Many, not all issues are when your wife moves in family with no discussion before. Yeah, I agree with that, Daniel. A lot of times, sometimes I know couples don't make that, the hard conversations, right? It's like, especially if they're like newlywed or just getting married, you have to make those hard conversations beforehand. Make an agreement, like where you stand. That way, the issues don't come up later on. Is anyone having issue with e-travel? I think I have it figured out. All right. The thing, HD, that I've heard with e-travel, the websites, a lot of times the people that are having trouble is when it's time for them to fly. Like you're supposed to like register like 3 or 4 days before your flight date. Something happens with the website or something, you get an error message that you can't get the QR code or something like that. But it's not a big deal, HD. In the past, before that e-travel, before all that stuff, you just fly to the Philippines, and at the airplane, they give you a paper. You fill out on your paper, and then when you land, you present the paper, your passport. But because of COVID, when COVID pandemic, they started with the e-travel, e-gov. But the thing here with many websites, it gets overwhelmed. So it might just happen on the day that you're flying out that the website don't work. But you're still going to be able to fly. The people at the airport on the U.S. side or even the Philippine side, when you get there, they'll help you. It's not like, oh, you can't enter the Philippines because you didn't, As long as you like take a picture, that's happened to Dazzle and I. We were flying to Manila and we were doing that. It was during the pandemic, and their website, the e-travel, wasn't working. So I just took a picture, a screenshot of the page that says error. And then when I got to the airport, hey, this is what I'm getting. I can't register. Good to go. They'll help you fill out whatever form they got to fill out. It's just the websites here in the Philippines, they're just not reliable. That's the common experience where it'll crash. Something will happen to the website. It could be working months and months. It could be working. And the day of your travel, the website don't work. It's like kind of Murphy's Law. It's like Murphy's Law. But it won't like you can't get on the plane or I've never seen anybody you'll fly, you'll get to fly, they'll figure it out if the system's not working when you get here, because like I said before, they didn't even have the requirement for the that thing. It was just for the COVID thing, that you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. That's the whole thing. They started with that. But before, when I used to fly to the Philippines, they just at the airplane, like 1 hour before you land, the stewardess will like pass out these forms and you fill that out. You put your address, hotel where you're landing in the Philippines, sign it, that you're not bringing in more than $10,000 cash, sign it and give it, and you're good to go. But they have a tendency, like I said, overreacting sometimes, creating stuff that once it's created, they don't, that they can't remove anymore. They start processes here, websites that, the reason was the pandemic. The pandemic's over, but they carried on. They carried on because they don't want people losing jobs. They hired people, to process these things. There's a company that runs the website. They don't want to lose the contract. I did the driving through national parks from Arizona in 1 week. Oh, nice. Me, I didn't do it in 1 week because I lived in Arizona, in Tucson. I would go to Prescott and spend 4 or 5 nights in Prescott. The Grand Canyon, I spent 4 or 5 nights there. Sedona, 4 or 5 nights there. Because I lived there. I know you could do it, a lot of driving. I'm sure a lot of driving for you, HD. Since you wanted to hit all the spots. Arizona, Yellowstone. Also did the Iceland ring route in 1 week. Very tiring. I know, a lot of driving. That's the thing. Me, when I used to go, it was enough driving from Tucson to the Grand Canyon. Usually it'll kill like 1 day. It takes a few hours to get there. How long was that? Maybe 5 hours. So usually the going there, so that's why I stayed a few nights, relax, and then the way back. Edgar, hey, Vegas Will. All right, Vegas Will in the house. Said I. All right. There's Vegas Will, Mr. Weatherman. Also did, all right. Hey, Vegas Will. Hello, guys. Mr. Weatherman. Ray, I'm in the background. All right, brother. All right, Ray in the Philippines. See you soon, Ray. Can't wait to meet you in person, man. I did my trip across the USA in 3.5 days. Man, that is tough, HD. But that was a change of command from upstate New York to, New York, man, that's a lot of driving. I've been to every state except Alaska. Might have to make I've been to Alaska because when I was stationed in the Pacific, Edgar, I used to take military hops. It's like airplane rides in military cargo planes usually, and it costs us at the time like $10. So from Japan and Korea, I used to fly back to the United States, and Anchorage, Alaska was like the Elmendorf Air Force Base was the stop. And then usually from Elmendorf, they'll fly you to like Fairchild in Seattle, Washington, or Travis Air Force Base in California. I rode a lot of hops because I knew the system. I'm Air Force, and we're familiar. We did a lot of hops during my 20 years in the military because it was cheap. It's just a cheap way to fly all over the world was the military. I flew military hops to Yokota in Japan, to Guam, Anderson Air Force Base. Rode like C-130s, C-141s, mostly C-141s. C-5, dude, I'll get to ride the C-5 too. That's another plane. Big plane. The C-5 is the plane that opens, and you can move like cargo in there, like Pretty cool, pretty cool. Plane inside. And when you ride inside, it's like humongous. It's like humongous. It's like you're echoing in there. I remember one time I was on a C-141 and the crew, they were like throwing a football inside the plane. We were like, we had, some planes would have seats, like regular seats, but some plane had cargo netting. Like the C-131s usually had cargo netting. But I remember that was specific. They weren't throwing like a deep ball or anything, but they were inside the aircraft, inside, and just throwing a football. It's amazing how much mileage you can get in a day if you have a good audio book playing. You'll have to be young since it's very rough. Oh yeah, very rough. Sitting, right? Sitting in the car, HD. That's the thing. Even here when I drive, it's like I can drive maybe 3-4 hours, but after 3-4 hours, I have to get up, stretch my back. It's hard sitting down. Like you said, it's a young man. They could do it, but like I'm getting up there. I'm 50 now. I'll be 60 next year. So I'm not a young man anymore. People still call me young man, I understand. I'm happy when they call me young man, Usually the older people, like guys in their 70s, they'll call me young man, but, not many people call me young man. I'll be 60, man. Next year, I'll be 60, so I don't feel like a young man anymore. My last vacation, mid-2000, was across USA. Mount Rainier. All right. Mount St. Helen, Yellowstone. Dang, you hit all good spots, man. You hit a Deadwood, Graceland. All right. 5 weeks. Hey, Joe. Good morning. Good morning, Joe. So, lots of military bases and museums. Yeah, I did too. When I traveled on long distances, usually I would stay at military bases. Billeting. Took advantage of billeting is like hotels in the military. Military bases will have hotels. It's called billeting. And usually military, pretty low price. I don't know now. It's been a while. It's been over 14 years since I stayed in billeting. It says here, Ray, when are you going live? Mom Jan is asking Ray, where are you going live? SRRV is $1,500 deposit. 15 fees, $3,000, and you're military, Daniel. That's why the deposit is only $1,500. I know it's a lot more if you're not military. Ex-military, yes. The Edgar saying ex-military. I'm on a bus. Wow, on a bus. Drop on my laundry on a bus. Immigration. Talk about a topic today. Ray, you're doing your visa. Getting all my chores done before the trip. All right. Been paying. 1980s? Yeah, 1980s. Correction. 50-year-old and older. 50-year-old Edgar. 50. No one can charge you more than you are willing to pay. I agree, right? I agree. Like I said, in the Philippines, it's like everything's negotiable. It goes both ways. It's like I've mentioned before, you also have a bargaining power as a foreigner coming into the Philippines, especially for rent, because if you're going to rent a house here or rent an apartment or a condo, the landlords here, if you're a foreigner, they know you can pay. Like when I lived in Calibo, with my apartment, there were how many? Like 1, 2. There were 3 floors. There were at least 12 units in my apartment, and I had one of the apartment. My landlord was like always ecstatic about me because like I always paid my rent on time. And I was the only one that was like that. She was telling me, like in Calibo, she had renters that were like 3 months behind on rent. So, that's why I said, as a foreigner, you got that bargaining chip too. You got that because the landlords want to rent to foreigners because they know they have the money to pay. They don't have that dynamic where the foreigner can't pay. For one, you don't want to cause any trouble, and you don't want to like them reporting you to immigration like, hey, this guy ain't paying rent. The other people, the landlords, if they're like, they haven't paid rent for 2-3 months, they're gonna have to go through like the eviction process and all that. They don't have to do that with foreigners. That's why they love renting to foreigners here. It's guaranteed good money, So you have bargaining power because they know you're gonna be paying good, and then you can deal. Most foreigners that I know here, when they get an apartment that they like, they live in an apartment maybe 6 months, they can talk their landlord to lowering their rent because it's a reliable source of income, to rent to a foreigner. You got that, everything is negotiable here because you can always just say, hey, I found a cheaper apartment. I think I'm going to move there. And more likely the landlord will tell, well, how much is the rent? Yeah. Oh, I can lower your rent, that kind of deal. Everything is negotiable in the Philippines. Like Ray was saying, they can charge you anything they want, but it's up to you for what you're willing to pay. So you can always just say, no, I ain't paying that. I'm moving out. Or if a landlord tells you I'm raising the rent, you can just tell them, well, I guess I'm moving. I ain't paying them more than what I'm paying. Goes both ways. Lot over 800. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, I still have to do my video on SRRV documents. All right, Ray. I'll have to watch that. I'll have to watch the video. I have to learn. I've heard about that process. Usually, I ask Michael C. That he's my source for SRRV because he's done it. He's got the SRRV card, and if I get a question, I usually ask Michael how it went for him. I wonder if I can still blend in as one of the locals. You don't necessarily get treated any better. You get treated like a plebe, like I know, but you're like a pledge in a fraternity, and get told to scram, paying for better treatment. Well, HD, I think because you speak Aklanon, so that's an advantage you have more than me. I don't speak Aklanon. I'm not fluent in it. I can understand now. I can say little words, but I'm not fluent like you in the Aklan dialect. That should count for something if you're negotiating here, since you can speak the local dialect. Janet, I go live in the evening, 6 p.m. Oh, okay, 6 p.m. Oh, that's right. I caught you one time, Ray, at evening time. That treatment is the same here. Just by dressing nice, you get better treatment. Right, HD? If somebody's well-dressed, look like they got money, you're going to get treated well anywhere, right? It's not just if you look like you're walking into a shop and you're looking like a celebrity, it's like you'll get better treatment, But if you're going into a shop looking like you're about to rob the shop, you're not going to get that special treatment. You will have an accent from in the U.S., so you're one of now. Yeah, the very little extra. Good points, HD. Spotty connection on the bus. In case, no worries. I'm surprised you got connection on the bus, Ray. That's pretty good. I have the American accent, but it's still possible to blend in my looks. Being a larger stature doesn't help. Hey, Ray, my good friend in Sacramento. Hey, Ray. I'm on my way to Valerio's Bakery. Seafood City. Oh, Seafood City. I've heard about Seafood City. My cousin in Las Vegas, they have Seafood City. That's one of his favorite place to get Filipino food. Good day, Ginno. Gotta go. All right, John. All right, Salve. Maggie. Bye, Maggie. Take care, everyone. Good morning, Ginno. Is there a bike schools to get the license? Yes. Most places now, because there's driving schools now. pretty much anywhere. I know in Kalibo they have their driving school. Even our small town of Numancia, there's a driving school, because there's now a requirement here in the Philippines. If you're a first-time driver's license you're applying for your first-time driver's license, you have to attend driving school. That is a requirement all over the Philippines now. No way you're getting around that. If you've never had a driver's license, you have to go to driving school now here in the Philippines. And not cheap, like Dazzle, like I said, it costs me, costs us like 10,000 pesos, at least sign her up for a driving school. You can run a few fans and lights with a low cost. Yeah, that James, there's my good friend James from James and Karen's Adventures, a YouTube channel. That's all I want, James, and I've talked to James about it. I don't need like the whole house. I just need like below my budget is around under 100,000 pesos, about $1,800 below. That way I can run solar in conjunction with electricity, right? I can cut down on my electricity and never lose electricity. If the power goes out, I'll still have solar. I'll still have fans. Fans and light is what internet, that the whole house thing, that's above my pay grade. I can't afford to spend $10,000 on a full solar powered house. A little bit of solar power, I'm good. HD, you got it. All right. Yes, thanks, man, Janet. All right. Take care, HD. All right. Left Iloilo 2 weeks ago, missing it. Don't have a choice, taking care of my elderly mother whose partner passed away. I'll be back though. All right, the River Dog. I have friends now that I've met them in person. I met them almost a year ago. They're gonna be moving to Iloilo City with their parents. It's like they live in Colorado, and the reason is their parents. It's getting hard, expensive. Their parents in the U.S. have Social Security, but taking care of the assisted living, all that's getting expensive. So they decided to move to Iloilo City. They're actually building a house in Iloilo City. So building a house for their parents. So that I see that dynamic, because like here, you can easily hire. It don't have to be like a full-time caregiver or a full-time nurse. It's easy to find people that medical background, nursing, caregiver, that can assist with your parents, elderly parents can come in like, 8 hours a day just to take care, help take care. Because I remember that's the reason why they decided to move from Colorado to here. They're getting overwhelmed with like the caregiving to their parents. Do they give you a seat or a seat net? It depends on the plane. Joe. The C-131s, I never got a seat. I never got a seat. It's always the cargo netting. But they're comfortable because you can lay on the cargo netting, it's really comfortable. The C5, there is a seat. But it's weird because when you ride the plane on a C5, you're facing the other direction. It's a weird feeling, Joe, because we're used to the pilots in front and you're flying like that, right? On the C5, I remember it. You have to fly the other way backwards. I don't know why it's like that, but it was like that. And then C-131, it just depends on how they configure the plane, because a lot of the military aircraft, they can put the seats or they can remove the seats, depending on what cargo they're gonna put on the plane. They're pretty cool. I mean, it's like, it's they call it you're like on standby status. Of course, active duty has priority. Dependence of active duty. If you're on orders, if you're military orders, your priority on the hop. probably like the lowest, like me. I'm retired military, so I'll be in the lowest category. But I can still fly. Unfortunately, they don't have military hops here in the Philippines. I would have to fly from like Kadena in Okinawa or fly Yokoda. If I was in Japan, I can catch the hop from Japan. 66 here. All right, Joe, 66. Got here too early, waiting for the mall to open. All right. Oh, 10 a.m. for the mall to go immigration office. Dasmariñas, Dasmariñas. It's been a long time since I've been at Dasmariñas. In the 80s was the last time I've been to Dasmariñas, Ray. If you're lucky, the C9 Nightingale. Yep, the C9 Nightingale. It's our hospital. Our hospital it's a hospital plane, kind of like the Mercy, like the boat Mercy. I know it's a boat hospital. C9 is the Air Force hospital plane. Oh, Space A. I was trying to remember the name since I haven't done it, Ray. The Space A, space available. So it's kind of like what they'll do is you can go online, you can check. Like I can check like Yokoda Air Base in Japan or Okinawa. I can check like the upcoming days, what planes are gonna come in, what planes I can catch from those, and it's space available. I'll have to sign up on the list, and there's a priority. But usually Yokoda is a good place to fly out because they have lots of flights going to America, going to Alaska, going to Seattle, and then they have flights going to Guam, going to Hawaii. So I'll fly into Iloilo morning of the 5th. I'll be in Rojas for 11th to 14th. All right. We might be able to see you in Rojas because we're planning on being on Rojas one of the days that you got 11 to 14. So I might see you in Rojas. See you in Rojas. In between those times, my schedule. Yeah, all right. Hey, River Dog, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat, River Dog. Appreciate that. It helps our channel. Channel a lot. Thank you. Response, been watching you off and on since the beginning. All right. Thank you for your continuous support. Appreciate it, my friend. Joel, I flew a C-141 to the Middle East on the cargo net seats, but got the good ride on the new C-17. All right, with the seats back. Yeah. All right. It's like that because when they land on the carrier, it's your back first on the sudden stop. I was launched off the catapult, but I never. Oh, okay, all right. I wonder that, it's like most of my life I've ridden an airplane HD going forward, right, where the captain's in front. But I remember riding a C5 one time, and I'm like backwards. I was like, oh yeah, but it's like I was happy to ride, for space available. I mean, it was like $10 to fly on the plane. You can't beat the price. And then you get a box lunch. You get usually at the box lunch usually is like a sandwich, an apple or banana, and then a drink on a Tetra Pak or something. They give you like your meal, like a box meal, part of your flight, included in the $10. C2 Greyhound. All right. I'm at the two hour mark. That's what I try to keep the live streams. I try to keep them at the 2 hour mark. I appreciate everyone that joined the live stream this morning. Dazzle, she should be. She was up earlier, so she's probably just laying in bed doing Facebook or something, or watching a movie on Netflix. But we got to get going here. I see Ray says he's watch live. It's live. Ray went on live, right? All right, Ray. Take care. All right, take care, everyone. Happy Labor Day. Enjoy the rest of the holiday. Take care, everyone. Have a nice day, Ginno. All right, Joe. Thank you, Joe.